And I'm here to tell you about lots of different opportunities for you this summer. It's right around the corner. You may have forgotten. I mean, today is May 3rd, if you can believe it. And we're coming down the home stretch of this school year. So we want to make sure that our students know about different ways that you can connect with your community and stay engaged over the summer break. I am a firm believer in sleeping in sometimes, but oftentimes, too much sleeping in is not so good. It is good to get out in the world. And I just want to show you guys this quote. It is one of my favorite quotations from wonderful former President Barack Obama, which is that it's something that I follow, and I feel like a lot of people who find joy in life and find hope, of course, follow this idea of don't wait for good things to happen to you. If you go out and make some good things happen, you fill the world with hope, and you will fill yourself with hope. And it's just a great reminder that life is not lived sitting at home. There are lots of great things to do at home. I like to be at home, but it is best to get out in the world and make good things happen. And young people such as yourselves can totally do that. So I encourage you all to follow these words of wisdom, because getting out in the world and helping other people will make you feel good, feel like a good, engaged citizen. All right, one way to do that we're going to talk about first is volunteering. This is a wonderful photo of some of our volunteers. I had nothing to do with this, but this was an event back in the fall that wonderful Mr. Weaver took some students to, where they volunteered. And there are lots of opportunities to get involved with our community and volunteer and help out, and we can connect you to those opportunities. We have like a list of examples of different places to volunteer around town, and these are places that are actively seeking volunteers right now. You'll see Out Memphis on the list, and Memphis Athletic Ministries, all the way down to the Memphis Humane Society and Memphis Rocks. So these are all organizations that are regularly looking for people to volunteer. I do know that Theater Memphis is looking for a large number of volunteers right now, because they have a production and they need a stage crew for this production. So that's one that is happening right now just because of a production. However, all of these places would love to have you come and help. And you don't have to have experience in any of these areas to be able to be helpful. And getting out and doing different volunteer works can open doors for you that you may not have known about otherwise. So that's one really great thing about volunteering, about getting out, of course, is helping other people, but you also get to open doors and meet people and kind of network with different people. And you can actually contact these organizations. Like if you want to take a screenshot, you can do that, or like you can contact them directly, or you can go to this website that I'm about to put in the chat that is called Volunteer Odyssey. And what it is it's a great website that is for people who live here in Memphis. And you can just go to this website, and there are lists of different places that need volunteers, and you can sign up, and then they'll give you instructions for what you need and where you need to show up and what time. You will want to make sure that you're signing up for a volunteer opportunity that is for young people, because sometimes they do have rules around how old you have to be in order to sign up. So it's always a good idea to check that first. But yeah, if you are interested in volunteering somewhere and it's not on this list, you can totally do that. You can reach out to them through their website, or check and see if they're already on volunteerodyssey.com. That's always a good idea, is to check that website first. All right, summer learning experiences. Now, this is totally new, totally exciting, and only for crosstown students, okay? So, summer learning experiences are something that you can seek out. And if it's a summer learning experience that costs a little bit of money, because some of them do sometimes, Crosstown can help you pay for it. We will pay up to $200 per student. $250. Sorry, I had that wrong. $250. Like, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. And so what you would want to do is look up some workshops, some classes, training, it can be a camp, that, and check and see the price and check and see the cost and get a little bit of information about what you would be doing there in this class or course or workshop. And then, if you're not sure if it would qualify for a summer learning experience, that's okay. You can submit an application, and I'll put the application in the chat as well. I have a link to that. And let me find it. Wait, where is it? Where is it? Okay, I'll get to it in just a minute.
I'll get it.
Oh, you got it? Okay. Well, I'll keep going. Okay, so you can apply for this scholarship that's up to $250, actually before you're accepted to whatever class or program it is. But in order to receive funds, you got to show that you're actually doing the class. And then all students who are receiving that scholarship will submit a short reflection at the end of their experience about what it was like, and maybe how you learned and how you grew. And so some examples of some summer learning experiences. Are you ready? These are some examples of what a summer learning experience could be, but not every single one that's out there is on this list, because there are plenty more opportunities out there. But Bridge Builders, that program, would be an example of a summer learning experience. There is child and baby or infant first aid, CPR, AED certification through the Red Cross, which is very valuable to have. Swim lessons at the Croc or the YMCA. That's a big one. Very, very valuable there to be able to have those lessons. Rhodes College Writing Institute, Rebecca Finlayson, who sometimes works with our students, will be teaching the Rhodes College Writing Institute. It's only for high schoolers, okay? I know it says Rhodes College and it might make you think, oh, I'm not in college, but it is actually specifically for high school students. So if you're a passionate writer or you just want to improve on some writing and have some fun with it, that would be a good one to pursue. They also have a mock trial academy at Rhodes College. And this is for high school students. Again, even though it's at Rhodes College, it's specifically for high school students. And then, of course, the Summer Bridge program at University of Memphis. And that's for those of you who are interested in perhaps pursuing a career as a teacher or an educator of some sort later in the future. That's a great program for anyone who is interested in pursuing education. And I'm Miss Ginger found the Summer Learning Experience Scholarship application. So that's a form that you can fill out if you are interested. All right, this one is a big one. All right, this next thing is a big one. Some of you are doing it. Some of you are thinking about it. Dun, dun, dun. Getting a learner's permit. Okay, so normally, at least as long as I've been alive, like schools that I've been to haven't really been super helpful in terms of getting a learner's permit. But I just want to tell you guys about this today, because it can be like a little bit tricky, especially when you are trying to navigate this with your family for the first time. So what I recommend doing to begin with is starting a conversation with your family about you learning to drive. Okay. And that can be kind of hard for your parents, because they love you and you're their baby, and it's hard for them because they think, oh no, my child is growing up and Now they want to drive. So, you know, if you get any pushback from adults, generally it has nothing to do with your capabilities as far as driving goes. It's more about them being sad that their little babies are growing up. But you'll want to start a conversation about that. And I recommend that in general, in life, when you're talking with your parents about something that's new, to maybe talk about the ways that you're going to take responsibility for that. And take some ownership over it and say like, well, here are the things that I want to do in order to prepare to get my learner's permit. Okay. The next thing you'll want to do is set a test appointment. And I'm going to send you guys links to all of this information so that it's really easy to access, but these are just the steps that you'll do. You'll set an appointment to get a test. Okay. And it is a written test where you're going to be able to tell them basically like, I know the rules of the road when you take this test. So then after you have the test appointment, you'll want to start studying. And the great thing is that there are lots and lots of options for different practice tests. There is an app called the Tennessee Drivers Services app. And there are also tests online that we'll send you a link to so that you can go ahead and start studying. I do recommend, I'm going to go back one. I do recommend when you're studying and you take the practice tests, if you get one wrong, try to figure out why. Because oftentimes it's really easy to get a question or get an answer wrong and then think, oh, that was confusing. I don't really know what it was anyway. They're going to ask that question again and you're going to get stuck. But yeah, try to figure out why you got it wrong or why the answer is what it is, because those questions are going to keep coming up. It's also a good idea when you're doing those practice tests, if you don't understand something, ask your family for help. You know, you likely have drivers in your house with lots of road experience, and they took this test at some point in their lives. So they may be able to lend a little wisdom to you. All right, the next step is gathering all of those required documents. Okay, so this is something that as ninth graders in crosstown and probably so far in life, like you likely haven't had to think a whole lot about specific documents like your social security card and your birth certificate and proof of where you live and filling out all kinds of forms. But here is the opportunity for you to really engage with that. So you're going to talk with your family and you're going to ask them about those documents. And again, we'll give you the information as far as everything that you need when this kind of wraps. But you'll want to make sure that you have everything with you, because I can't tell you how many times I myself, as a grown-up, have showed up to get my license or get something done, and I forget one thing, and the people at the counter there who are working very hard, they will say, no, we can't help you today. You have to go home and get that document and bring it back. And oh my goodness, woo, that is tough. That is tough. But it's so important for you to make sure that you have all of the things that you need before you go to get your permit. And when you get your permit, when you take that test, it's just a written test. You do not have to drive the car with anyone in it at the driver's license center, or like you don't have to do that while you're there. Okay, so you made your appointment. Test appointment day comes. You got to make sure you've got all of those documents. You've been studying. You're ready to get that test out of the way. You go in, you take the test, and you don't pass. That's totally fine. There are lots of studies that say that half of teenagers just don't pass on the first try. That's okay. You know what it means if that happens? It means you just weren't ready. And that's okay, because you're going to schedule another appointment and you're going to try again. That's what we do. It's really easy to get attached to the idea of walking out of there with your brand new permit. And you know what? You might not, and it's going to be okay, because there are more opportunities to take it again. And it's so much better for you to be practicing driving with your permit if you really know the rules of the road. You don't want to get out there and not know what you're doing. So it's okay if you don't pass. I know people in my own house who have not passed on the first try. And I also know some crosstown students who have not passed the test on the first try. And that is totally fine. I know one student who went in to take the driver's test at the very beginning of the pandemic and didn't pass. And it was because it was the beginning of the pandemic and they were just really nervous, and it was weird to be out. It was weird to be out wearing a mask, and there are all kinds of different reasons. But all I'm saying is, if you don't get it the first time, it's totally fine. Lots of people don't. All right. So once you get, oh wait, sorry, I'm not going to go any further until you guys scan this QR code or screenshot this if you want to, if that's easier. This is a wonderful, wonderful resource that Miss Ginger's husband, Mr. Josh Spickler, who lots of you have met, he put this together. This is a great document that just has all of those things that I mentioned before, like your birth certificate, all of that list, and the location and how to sign up for an appointment. It's all there in this QR code. So if you missed it, you can email us, because we're going to keep going. All right, driving with your permit. I'm going to be quick about this, okay? I know that the teachers here who are drivers will probably identify with this, but driving with a family member or an instructor, but especially if it is a family member and someone who like you feel safe with, usually, like, it can be really tricky. You've got to talk to that family member about when you want to practice driving, and make a plan together. Sometimes, in my family, we've said, okay, now we'll practice driving when we go to the grocery store, so that you can practice driving on roads that you would normally drive on, and parking in parking spaces, and being in a parking lot with both people walking around and other cars. Talk about some scenarios that could be helpful to you. Communicating with your instructor is essential, and not just when you're talking about when you're going to go, but when you're in the car. Okay. They can't read your mind and you can't read theirs. And you have to do what we do at Crosstown when we are approaching a problem and we're looking for a solution. And that is that we empathize. So think about what it's like for your mom or your dad or your grandparent or your aunt or uncle, your family, to be riding with you. And you don't have experience yet, so they might be a little bit nervous. Probably means you want to like take it slow. Don't react. Everybody just try to keep it calm, because that way you'll keep yourself and your family safe. And make a plan for when you're going to safely take a break. There are times when you are driving, especially at first, and it can be really overwhelming. All of a sudden, there will be cars that are coming up next to you in a lane. Some of them might drive faster than you're used to being around. And that can be overwhelming. So make a plan with the adult who's in the car for how you're going to take a break, meaning, what do you do when you feel overwhelmed? Do you put your turn signal on and get over to the right side? Do you have a certain word that you say, a code word that keeps you all safe? Just to let your instructor know. Remember, communication is key. And the last thing, oh wait, not quite the last thing. Always thank your instructor when you finish driving. It goes a long way for your parents and family to hear a thank you when you get out of the car, even if it was nerve-wracking and you're exhausted when it's over. Just like anything, the more you practice, the better you'll get at it and you'll feel more comfortable. And finally, be nice. Just be nice. In my family, when my children have learned to drive, it's tough, you know, and I hear it in other families who I know too, where maybe the child is having a hard time being willing to accept instruction and the adult is having a hard time being patient. So everyone just be nice and patient with one another. All right. I'll leave you with another quotation from Mary Oliver, the lovely poet who writes a lot of poetry around nature. And the quote is, "Tell me what it is you plan to do with your one wild and precious life? Don't let this summer slip through your fingers." You guys have all kinds of resources, whether it is figuring out a volunteer opportunity, or perhaps maybe you want to find a job or you want to start babysitting. You know, we can help you with that. So like I said, if you want to find a volunteer opportunity, and it doesn't have to be something that you do every single day, all day, like you do school. It might be something once a week, you know, or twice a week, but just to get out in the community is really important. To get out in a safe way, of course, masked and socially distant, and be able to contribute to your community it's a big thing. It's the thing that, like, you know, the quote said from Barack Obama, it will give you hope. It will fill you with hope. So yeah, I hope that you guys will start thinking about some opportunities for what the summertime could look like for you. And I thank y'all for being here. Miss Ginger, do you have anything that you'd like to add?
Nope. You did it.
All right.
You said it all. Thank you.
Okay. Well, one last thing is that I'm going to put a link in the chat for students who maybe are thinking like, well, I have this idea and I'm not sure where it fits, and I'd love to talk with either Miss Leah or Miss Ginger, but really Miss Leah. I'd love to talk with them about my summer plan idea. So I'm going to put a link in the chat right now for a little form. And if you have questions or thoughts or whatever, you can click on that and you can fill it out. And that'll let me know that you want to get going on something. But otherwise, I hope that y'all have a fantastic afternoon. Holy smokes, it's 2:25. You did it. You made it. All right. I'll stick around here if you all have questions, but otherwise you can head on out.
Thank you, Kobe. You too. Awesome. Thank you, Miss Leah.
Oh, you're welcome.
Did anybody have questions for Miss Leah?
Yep.
Oh,
Go for it, Charles.
Hi, Miss Keith. What about internship opportunities?
yes. Okay. So Charles, what I'm going to do specifically for you, because I know you're interested in a very specific internship, I would love to reach out to the Citadel and see what they've got available, if that's okay with you.
Go right ahead.
Okay, I will do that. All right.
Henry came back. Henry, did you have a question?
So I looked on the Theater Memphis stuff and it said that I had to be 16 to do it.
Okay. Well, whoops, sorry, I muted myself. I know that it says that you have to be 16. However, I think that it would be a good idea to go ahead and contact them anyway, because even if they don't have a spot in stage crew, they might have a spot somewhere else. And they might be able to find one for you that would be really fun as well.
The 16 thing sometimes can be a way that organizations try to, get more mature folks who can handle things. So if you are very professional in your email and communications with them, that may give them the information they need to know that you can handle what they need you to handle. So sometimes those rules are more for screening than for anything. So always give it a try. It's not going to hurt anything to give it a try. And even if they can't take you this time, like Miss Leah said, they'll remember your name from last time when you apply again. So go for it.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Henry. My dad's best advice he ever gave me was don't shut the door in your own face.
There you go.
Might as well try.
You may as well try. You never know. All right, everyone. Any more questions?